Hello, boys and girls. It's your boy King Jiffy Coats and Ben from Nat1 Games. And crazy thing happened. Well, not recently for you guys, because this episode will come out like in a month past when this actually happened. But Ben hit 1,000 subs on YouTube.
Look at me. I'm
Hey.
super micro famous now.
Yeah, micro famous. We are both
Micro, indeed.
disgustingly micro famous. But
Yeah.
now we are both in the 1,000 club. So
We are both in the 4 digits.
Yay, so that's something. Now we just need to get HauntedRouter bigger than both of our channels, which we are consistently always working on. But,
yeah, I know. We both work like more on this at this point than we do our own channels.
oh,
probably.
100% work harder on this. I had to edit a bunch of videos for my main channel, and I was like, I don't even know if I remember how to do this. I edit a podcast episode every week. I don't edit a main channel video every week because I gave myself like 6 months of buffer on that thing.
Yeah, well, you worked hard enough to make that all that content. My thing goes straight to the presses as soon as it's done.
Right away,
Yeah,
just full send it. I hope it works, baby.
I get about 70% of the way done editing, and then I'm just like, it's good. Nobody watches to the end anyway, and then I just slam that share button.
Dude, I get so when I first started, I'd get so annoyed that people wouldn't watch the end because sometimes I'd have some of my best bits at the end of the video because I used to think that like I was making a piece of art or something, and it just never happened. Now looking back at those videos, they're garbage, but at the time I thought I was pretty impressive.
Like all things, man, I think I have like really weird people that watch my videos. No offense to the people that watch our videos and stuff, but like I get like a weird amount of audience retention now. At the beginning I did not. People would watch for about 30 seconds on average, but now people are like, oh, it's long form content. I'm supposed to listen to this. And now they kind of do.
Well, that's so great.
Yeah, I guess.
My problem is
not to brag, but I got about a 30% audience retention to the end.
Ooh, so fancy. Look at Ben.
That's literate. That's some literate motherfuckers watching my stuff. For as weird as they are, like I just said.
I don't blame my audience for not always watching to the end because I definitely put out a video once where it was called "Did OJ do it?" and I said yes, of course he did. You're stupid. And then the rest of the video is just silence. Or it was like Mario music or something. It was a 10-minute video and just 9 minutes.
I remember that. I remember because I watched that. I watched that video and I got like minutes into it just being music, and I was like, "Dude, I think you might have fucked up something." And you're like, "That's the joke, dude." I was like,
"No, it was a troll. Definitely trolled you."
Yeah,
that was the whole point.
I got.
I sent it to Dahlia. My wife sent it to her mother, or my mother-in-law. Jesus, I was getting sent it to my mother-in-law, and she sat there. She's like, "Is he gonna start talking soon?" And it was like a minute in. That was one of my.
That's sweet that your family sends your stuff around. Nobody in my family would ever watch one of my videos.
No, I think that's the only one that got sent around because it was funny like that. Because it was. I still have that video pops up every once in a while that people watching it. I'm like, ugh. Unfortunate. I got you. You listened to Mario hold music for an egregious amount of time. But
I was waiting.
We're getting into one of the multi-parters today, which whenever we see multi-parters on the sub, we usually put them in like kind of in the back of our head, but like we put them off to the side so we can get some of the shorter stuff done, and then we piece out time to make these ones. What we didn't know, sorry, Gloomy Succotash, also known as Blaine Warburton. His name is interesting. It's like Warburton. It's just like his handle, Gloomy Succotash, Warburton. But I thought this was longer than it was because we saw the multi-parters, but it's actually a pretty palatable story that we probably will have time to get to another one. If we don't, we don't. But well, we have some on the back burner to maybe get into. But I'm excited to get into. Me and my team of divers took a job we shouldn't have. This might be, I'm guessing it's going to have to do with the ocean. I
hope so.
I want to kind of like guess what the story's about before. This is something that Creepcast did on one of their episodes where they guessed what they did beforehand, and I really like that, and we already ripped off their show, so we might as well rip off this. But let's guess what's happening in like a serious context. I'll try my best. We'll see. And whoever's closest at the end, we'll see how we were toward the end. But what do you think this is going to be about?
Team of divers took a job we shouldn't have. Well, I'm torn. I don't know if it's going to be It could be so many things, but let me, instead of me getting an umbrella guess, let me just like take like a really direct shot here. Let me just line up for a second. All right, this is what it is. So they find a body. No, okay. All right, yeah, they start finding weird stuff in the water when they go down to dive for something. Welding. They're welding a bridge, and then they find a river monster. It's river monster, dude. That's what I'm guessing.
Divers
I'm
in the
floundering
river.
here. Pun not intended.
What is this? The Mississippi?
Yes,
Like,
I'm
we're
hoping
going
so, dude. If
deep
it was the
dive.
Mississippi, that would be badass.
We got welders welding a bridge
Yes,
in a river,
and they find a river monster.
and a river monster, like creature from the Black
Yeah.
Lagoon. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see. I have no faith in that.
Oh, and he falls in love with one of the divers, just like Creature from the Black Lagoon. And they do like the
No.
swimming thing.
Did the creature? I don't think the creature of the Black Lagoon fell in love with anybody. I think he just murdered everyone.
Okay.
You're thinking
I
of
thought he,
that.
like,
What was the one with the Guillermo del Toro one? Was the one where the monster and the girl fell in love?
That's Shape of Water, I think. But I'm not thinking of Shape of Water. That's weird. No, the silver screen. He's not like Frankensteining over. Never mind. Fuck it.
Maybe. I haven't seen the movie since I was
over
like
here.
10. So
I thought he was fascinated with the lady in the white swimsuit.
maybe.
But I could be
I
wrong
was
about
fascinated
that.
with the lady in the white swimsuit.
Hey, silver screen nerds, comment below.
Yeah, you'll have
Who's
to.
correct
It's been
about
too long
this?
since I saw that movie. My sister was terrified of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and I thought it was hilarious because it was in black and white. And how could you be scared of black and white?
Oh, I loved black and white stuff.
I
One
did.
second.
Casablanca
my
is one of the
camera
greatest
roll.
movies ever made, and I don't care. What's the one with the like Rosebud? That one sucks. Everybody says it's so good. It's the greatest
Citizen
movie.
Kane.
Yeah, stupid.
I've never
movie.
seen Citizen Kane.
Stupid movie. Hate that movie. Think Citizen Kane's boring, lame, and I'd rather watch The Simpsons episode of it.
I guarantee this movie's fire.
No, dude. You watch Citizen Kane, it's boring as shit. And
All
people
right,
are like,
fine,
it's like
you're
the
on.
best black and white movie. No, the best black and white movie is like probably easily
Hard to be a
Casablanca. Casablanca's good though.
Fish like milk.
But if I had to guess what this is, it's me and my team of
Yeah.
divers, right? Now, a betting man, a solidly betting man would say, oh, they're diving into the ocean, and there's a submarine, and they're diving in, and then they find a monster, or some sort of creature that kills them. That's what a betting man would do. Now, have you seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Well,
Yeah,
the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is they like get shrunk. And
Yeah, for the Zoomers at home.
yeah, they get shrunk, and now they're little people. Now imagine that, but into a man's butt, like the boys. That would be.
You think they have to go diving? You think they're going butt diving?
Yeah, like Magic School Bus style. That'd be terrifying. Now I think that I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna be plausibly wrong with them diving inside the. And it doesn't have to be butt, like internals of a human.
I think
team
that
of
you've
divers
proposed kind of
shrank
like an
down.
underdog, like crowd favorite type story now.
That's
'Cause
what I
I'm-
want. I want
now
them
we're
to
all
shrink
going
down to little
deeply
people.
disappointed when it's not.
And dive into somebody with a vicious infection and have to fight the infection monster. It's like
So
Osmosis
it's still a river
Jones.
monster in a way,
Kind of still a river monster, but like an internal
but
body
it's
river
the
monster.
different type of river.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Like, oh, dude, could you imagine they're fighting it on like little homemade rafts of like leftover chipotle, and it's just like,
well, if they're gonna,
and they're trying to
if they're
kill
gonna
it
do
before
this-
they get peed out.
if it's going to be like this, then I don't even want them to fight a monster. I just want them to get stranded in a guy's lower intestines,
That would be
and then for it
sick.
to be like, I just watched Agide recently, where
Don't know
there's
what that
just
is.
like an expedition stranded on the Amazon, just going crazy on a wooden raft, pretty much, that won't go anywhere. But in a guy's bowels.
Yeah, so that's what I want out of this story. I think I'm like way wrong, but that's what I want. That's what I want is like survival horror in a human body with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
So we got one safe pick and one wild card pick.
That's
okay.
what I'm thinking, dude. I'm thinking,
All right,
like,
sure.
it sounds pretty wild, but that's what I want to go with. And I knew I said super serious, and I am super serious about that. That's what I want.
Okay.
Those are my stakes in my head. It's gonna be hard to hit those stakes, but I got my mallet, and I'm here to make a tent.
Noted. Folks at home can keep track of who's ahead on points for if we're going to start doing this. All right, man, you ready?
Yeah.
Dive
Full
in the
send it.
river. All right, put your scuba gear on. Part 1. No one was supposed to ever hear the facts of what I'm about to tell you, but before I get ahead of myself, let's get the fact that this was supposed to be a simple, quick, and very well-paid job out of the way. We were tasked to retrieve a lost deep-sea drone for a research institute that had more money than sense. They said it had slipped off the grid in a region of ecological interest. All right,
Oh,
so
for a
right off the
second I
bat,
got
both of us
excited.
are just
So hold up. I got excited for a second because it said a region of ecological, and then I read incest, and I'm like, wait a
or in
minute, incest, human bodies together, shrinking them down, adding them to the incest, finding that drone, baby. We got to do what we got to do. No man left behind.
ecological incest. Okay,
Yeah.
that
I just
sounds
read
like
the end of the paragraph and saw incest in my head. Like you know when your brain puts things together wrong, but it was
yeah.
incest, not interest. And when you read the words, I was again disappointed. So far, Gloomy, you've upset your boy with the lack of incest and internal organs and midgets, or not midgets.
Yeah, let's just go to the next story. Actually,
shrinking people. I think midgets is like not the right. I don't think you're supposed to say that anymore. Little people,
you're kind of like our guy that says things you're not supposed to say though, so that's all right.
That's
You're
my
like
job.
the id of the audience.
I'm the person that's like, darn it, not. This is why we hit the not. Not
you
for
are
children
not
button.
the one that says, "Oh darn it."
Gee willikers.
You're the one that's like, I'm over here like, "Oh darn it."
All right, my bad. Guy threw us off to the side road again.
All right. So they're tasked to retrieve a lost deep sea drone. So they're going way out in the waters. All right. So this is already scarier than like what I was talking about. But I like it. It's cool. Deep sea stuff is terrifying to me.
Oh, is it really?
Me and my crew.
I actually, we haven't read one of these, so I don't really have a fear of the water. Like if I was stranded out there, I would just drink salt water till I died.
Okay, that's a plan to have.
It's not like
you
somebody's
live
gonna
weirdly
find me.
close to the ocean for that to be your strategy too.
Well, no,
I mean,
if
you're not like, no, we know what to do out here with that.
Okay,
you
so
just
we're
talking float, dude, and then you.
I'm on the Gulf. The Gulf's a lot more mapped out than like the deep ocean, right? The deep ocean, if you're lost out there, you're cooked, brother. I'm sorry.
That's true.
If you're not on one of these flight plans or like cargo shipping ways, they don't see you. So you can just float out into nothingness forever. Might as well just drown. At that point.
Yeah, that is true.
I would eat what there was on the boat.
Do you
I
think
would live it out for a couple days. Once I started getting that dry, like Freddy Krueger skin, I just don't want to deal with it.
Do you think this is just going to turn into
note
like
on the wall that says, "I'm sorry, I didn't survive. Family, I love you a lot. It sucks." And then they'd find that, and by the time they found it, I'd be like bones. I wouldn't even be like a mushy body. I'd just be bones. It would be so long. My daughter probably has grandkids by the time they find me in this like wooden heap of sadness. So, like, I wouldn't have survived anyway.
And they're like unidentified skeleton found washed up on plastic continent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going out into the deep sea. Do you think actually that this is, and they're diving down into the waters? All right, I want to change my prediction a little bit. We're only one paragraph in, so I get to do that. I'm going to mulligan. So what I think is way safer bet now is I think they dive way down into the water and they come up and the boat's just not there.
Oh, what's that movie, Open Water?
No, you can't stretch that out for 6 parts. Never mind. Fucking stupid.
Yeah,
all right, we'll just get to it.
I think we're going to get into some Lovecraftianness, fish people now. If we're going to just mulligan fish people.
Yeah, you can mulligan once. Yeah, we're only one paragraph in. All right, fish people and boat goes missing. All right, so back to the story. Me and my crew had gained a reputation for being very good at what we do, so we were a little shocked to be offered such an easy job for so much money. But we chalked it up to they have the money to throw around and would rather hire people they know can get the job done. So that was the first red flag we ignored. I like that. The second came before we set out. The Institute had us sign non-disclosure agreements so airtight they felt more like shackles than contracts.
And yet we posted it on Reddit.
Oh, yeah. He's got nothing to lose, dude. He's got like 2 bars of internet and 2% battery left out in the ocean, so he's like...
He's some fishman sex slave. He's a fishman sex slave, and he's just like, please get this story out. I'm in between peggings.
Get the guys on HauntedRouter to read it.
They'll save me, and I'm like, nah, bro. I will straight up drink the salt water and die.
Over here dunking on him. Again, pun not intended. Damn it. I'm on fire with these water puns. The second came before we set out. The Institute has signed non-disclosure agreements. Okay. I'm not allowed to tell you the name of the company or the real names of anyone who went down there with me. I'm really not allowed to tell you I'm really not allowed to tell you any of this, but it's not something I can continue my life knowing. while the rest of the world walks around completely unaware of what exactly is going on this planet. So, let me be crystal clear. Everything you're about to read happened, only the names have been changed. I'll start with the arrival to the island the Institute sent us to get started. The sun was sinking into the ocean when our boat nosed into the harbor. The place wasn't much: wooden dock, a weather-bleached shack that might have been a customs office once, and a scatter of homes built from a patchwork of wood, tin, and drifted wreckage. Palm trees leaned like old men toward the water. Beyond them, the jungle loomed dark, thick, and strangely quiet. A few people were there to greet us, though greet might be the wrong word. They just stood watching us as we tied off. Men with broad shoulders and sun-scoured faces. Women with hair braided tight and eyes that never left the horizon. They all looked disappointed to see us, to say the least. A massive man with skin like oiled teakwood and a frayed fishing shirt finally stepped forward. He had the kind of face you'd expect to see carved into a figurehead, stern and weathered. Not to mention the tribal tattoos. Oh, God.
Are you the divers?
He asked.
Well, that'd be us,
I said, hopping onto the dock and offering a hand. He ignored my hand.
Name's Kona.
He looked us over for what seemed like too long before finally saying,
What do you want to find? Won't be what you're truly find.
Julian gave a small laugh.
By the way, that's exactly what it said. Like, what you find won't be. I think it's what you're looking for, you won't find, or I don't know.
Yeah, what you want to find won't be what you'll truly find.
Yeah, exactly.
Then why are they... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Julian gave a small laugh.
That's cryptic.
Kanoa didn't get the laugh... Jesus. Kanoa didn't laugh back. He just turned and walked. We followed him to a low building near the water, a sort of canteen where the smell of fried fish clung to the air. A single bulb swung over the mismatched tables. There were only 3 other people inside, 2 older women stringing shells, and a boy no older than 10 staring openly at us. Kanoa waved us to a table.
You'll need to sleep tonight. Eat first.
The boy piped up.
You're going to reef, aren't you?
Mara smiled at him.
Yeah, we're looking for a research drone.
The older of the 2 women hissed softly in her own language.
Lani.
Kanoa said sharply. The woman muttered something and went back to her shells.
By the way, I don't know how to do a Islander accent at all. Even a little bit. I can't even remember. All I'm thinking about is
like
Dwayne. Nah, I feel like this is more like Dwayne the Rock Johnson kind of Islander. Like Momoa. Or Moana. And I can't remember the accent for that. So I'm just kind of like winging it over here, if you can't tell. It's like,
I can tell.
It's diabolical.
It's diabolical, but you know what? Actually, you know what? Because nobody knows what island you're fucking talking about when you're talking about Dwayne the Rock Johnson. It's probably perfect.
Yeah.
We don't know. Thomas leaned. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I just don't even know. I was like, in my head, I'm like, do I do Jamaican? Do I do anything? And then I'm like, and every time.
Just make whatever feels right at this moment. Thomas leaned forward, elbows on the table.
'Cause they'll hear you.
Oh, one up. It's you all seem.
You all seem less thrilled about this dive.
The boy spoke again before Kanoa could.
Because they'll hear you.
Julian raised an eyebrow.
Who will? Oh, Jesus.
Kanoa's hand... You're doing all right, man. Kanoa's hand came down on the boy's shoulder. Not hard, but firm.
Enough.
He turned back to us.
You go to the reef. You go quick. You see shadows you do not follow. If you hear...
He paused, and something in his expression faltered.
Music. You put hands over your ears. You swim away. Mermaids! I was so close. So close.
You were so close,
people.
dude. I know. That was... Man. Me and my crew chuckled, but nobody else did. One of the women, Ihuna, finally looked up from her shell stringing. Her voice was like paper tearing.
They will look like your mother, your lover, your friend. They will look like water, and they will be beautiful. That is what you should be most afraid.
All right.
Julian said, glancing at me with a grin.
Definitely encouraged.
The woman he called Lani, crossed herself, or something close to it, and muttered.
And when they smile, it is already too late.
Mara tried to break the tension.
I think I liked it better when these people just told shock stories. Yeah, that's a way better Mara sound. She should just be like, well, the chick from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. What's her name? Not Gwyneth Paltrow. That's all I'm thinking of. Is like, is it Gwyneth Paltrow? No.
The actress is
Keira Knightley. Thank you.
Elizabeth Swann. That's it.
I just decided to go straight Keira Knightley for the girl on the diver team. We're gonna go Scottish, Keira Knightley, and then I have no idea what the main narrator is gonna be. We'll figure it out as we go. Full send, baby. Got my nipples out and I'm ready to pierce.
Kanoa leaned closer, eyes locked on mine.
Sharks see you coming.
We ate after that. Fried fish, rice, and a flatbread that tasted... Hold on one second, man. There we go, I had to clear my throat. We ate after that. Fried fish, rice, and a flatbread that tasted faintly of coconut. Every so often, I'd catch one of the locals glancing toward the door, as though expecting someone, or something for that matter, to walk in. When we finally stood to leave, Kanoa handed me a small vial. Inside was clumps of salt.
For the mouth,
he said.
What? What? If the song gets inside your head, bite the salt. Hard. It might keep you long enough to swim away. Might?
He didn't answer, just nodded. That night, the four of us laid on thin mattresses in the room above the canteen, the sound of the tide slapping the shore below. I should have been asleep, but I couldn't shake the ominous feeling I had inside me from the words and reactions of the locals. Somewhere out beyond the reef, the water made a sound I'd never heard before. Not quite a wave, not quite wind. Almost like a voice. I told myself it was all in my head, and I drifted off to sleep not long after. Part 1's good.
Yeah,
that was
part
pretty
1
cool.
was solid. Part 1 was pretty solid. I like the atmosphere. I'm picturing like the Hawaiian, like old-timey Hawaiian, like tents, not tents, but like shacks. You know those like little shacks on the beach? Like old island.
I'm picturing those, but I'm picturing them all like faded and stuff.
Yeah, like it's
like
it's
feathered,
modern times.
like weather, yeah, like weathered and like clapboarded on a lot of them and stuff like that, where they show up on this like kind of mysterious island and stuff. Like maybe it was once thriving.
Yeah, like
that type
place
of thing.
was like kicking off. Like people were going there for spring break and getting chlamydia on the beach, and now they realize there's mermaids that will murder you, and decided to go to Florida.
And then there was the cartels and communists too. So there's a lot to blame.
I don't know what's scary.
No, we're gonna blame it on the mermaids though.
Well, the murdering mermaids or the cartels and communists. Those are three terrifying things, Ben. We're just adding more and more, dude. That's terrifying. It's like Stalin with a gun, or the cartels that will kill you. And like cartel stories are diabolical. I knew a guy in school. He said that he had a family member that they paid to just like when you pay the cartels, you're not paying for that family member back, right? You're paying for them to die. So. But and the type of stuff they would do to them was they would like find bone and they would like drill in the bone and then shove like animal feces inside your bone as a torture method. Isn't that wonderful?
That seems very indirect.
Yeah,
I mean it's direct, but it's like
it's just one of the torture methods. Because the idea is they can't kill you because then they can't get any money out of you, so they just torture you, and then the idea is the family pays you to end the suffering.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that is the cartel, baby. Crazy.
Well, that's like twice as scary as what we're reading.
Again, dude.
Back
that's
to the story, though. I brought it up. I keep detracting us all night. But what do you think of the bite the salt thing? That's kind of strange, isn't it?
All I thought of is my way of ending it all on the ocean.
Yeah. Again, no. This is exactly what I would tell some stupid divers who showed up and we're about to be eaten by sea monsters. I'd be like, wait, guys, here, take this Splenda pack with you.
It's just
you just dump it all over
anthrax.
yourself. And then,
It's a vial of anthrax. You just hand them. If you hear singing, open this vial. Like just snicker to each other, like we gave them anthrax on this weekend on Hawaiian Jackass. We gave divers anthrax.
This is the deep dive anthrax challenge. Hashtag. All right, so part 2. The first thing I noticed when I woke was the absence of gulls. Every coastal morning of my life had started with their racket, but here there was nothing. Just the slow, heavy breathing of the ocean. We moved quietly, gathering our gear without trying to wake the locals we crashed with. The salt pouch Kanoa had given me sat heavy in my pocket, If for nothing else, I figured it would be a good souvenir. The canteen below smelled faintly of last night's fish and wood smoke. Cannibal was already there, leaning on the counter with a mug in one hand. He didn't greet us, just nodded once before finally speaking.
I suggest you die fast and come back faster. Get what you're here for and get the hell out of there.
Mara tried to smile, leaning an elbow on the railing.
Oh, we'll be fine. But I'm glad to know you care.
Cannibal didn't smile back. His gaze was fixed on her, unblinking.
If the water is warm, where it shouldn't be, you need to get out of there as fast as you can.
Somebody pees and just
Somebody
flips
peed
out.
in the pool. What if that's what it is like they all like get their gear on and then they walk out back of the place and it's actually just like an Olympic-sized pool that they're diving in?
Yeah.
And like they're making all this fuss.
It's just a bunch of like fat kids swimming, and they're just
Yeah.
they're full like dressed out.
And
like
they walk
they're
out there and they're like, "Oh my god, we're never gonna get to the bottom of the pool with all these kids in there." And he's like, "I told you, I warned you, you're not going to find it." And the narrator's like, "God damn it, we didn't come here to give up." And just pulls out like a machete.
just starts chopping fat kids. Just starts lopping up the fat kids in the pool. The water
cuts
is
up their
warm.
lunches
One
for
of them peed. One of them peed.
He's like,
Slicing
"One
and
of them
dicing.
peas." Yeah. I love this. This story's so good. Thomas frowned.
You mean the currents.
Canoa shook his head.
I mean what I said. Warm water happens all the time.
I cut in.
Thermosyles, hot vents, all kind of stuff. Not exactly a red flag. That's not the kind of warmth I am talking about.
Canoa said quietly.
It is not from the earth. It is from something else.
Mara raised an eyebrow.
Something else? Like what? Underwater volcano gods?
Canoa's expression didn't change.
You joke now, but when it wraps around your legs, when it feels like it's breathing against your skin, you'll remember I told you.
A silence stretched. Even the gulls seemed to have stopped calling for a moment.
But
They
there
weren't
aren't any
calling at
gulls.
all.
Yeah, they were gone.
Yeah, there weren't any gulls.
The gulls took the day off. That's why they're not calling. They're like, we gotta go north for the winter. We gotta get out of here.
There's a plot hole.
Yep.
Mara's smile faltered.
You're serious?
I've fished these waters my whole life.
Canoa said.
The sea can be dangerous. 100 ways you can see coming. This one, you won't. It feels wrong before you even know why.
Thomas tried to laugh, but it came out thin.
Right, point taken. Warm water. Turn back, got it.
Canoa's gaze swept over each of them in turn.
No, don't turn back. Leave, right then. Don't think, don't ask, just leave.
No one replied this time. Canoa continued on.
You aren't from around here. You have no idea what you're up against. Truth be told, we don't even know exactly. We all been raised on a million different stories and legends. But we all know the music in your ears when you're under the water leads to death.
From there, we left and went outside. I still remember that the sky was a pale, bruised pink, and the way the sea stretched flat and still toward the horizon. The boy from the night before was crouched near a coil of rope, watching us.
You'll see them.
He whispered as I passed. I stopped.
See who?
The wives. They'll look at you like they've been waiting long time.
Before he said that.
My abomination
Before I
of an
fit.
accent for the kid.
We've
I
been
have to
waiting a
match
long
the
time.
dad. I have to match the dad, so I just do a high-pitched version of the
That's-
dad, and it came out way
that-
more Asian than I thought.
Before I could answer, one of the women from the canteen stepped out of a doorway, seized the boy by the arm, and pulled him inside. She didn't look at me once. It sounds offended. The skiff was loaded with tanks, fins, and the recovery bag for the drone. As we untied, Mara called out to Canoa from the boat with a friendly wave.
If we're not back by lunch, send someone after us.
Canoa stood on the dock, arms crossed.
If you're not back by
Yeah.
lunch, I'll know you're not coming back.
Julian laughed, but it was an uneasy laugh. We motored out past the headland. The village shrank into a cluster of leaning rooftops, and the jungle beyond looked almost black under the morning light. I glanced back one last time. Cannibal was still on the dock, a still, dark figure against the pale water. Even from that distance, I could tell his eyes were following us. I turned and my crew was ready to head for the dive of our lives. If only we knew how on the nose that phrase would be.
Part 2. Kind of a bit of a lull moment there.
It dragged a little bit.
It dragged a little bit.
It was just him waking up and walking down to the dock.
Yeah, he woke up.
Okay, because they're only going on this one dive.
Yeah,
though is what I'm sensing from this.
But I feel like the conversation is just more the conversation he had the night before. Just how we.
Yeah, I guess they could have put this all in the first night.
Yeah, this just feels like they woke up to be told that, hey, newbie, you guys are gonna get molested by mermaids. It's not cool.
That's true.
I know we told you that last night, but really, really want to double down right here. We want to double down that mermaids might molest you, and you will die.
And there's like, they've also given them like 1,000 indications, like warm water. It will feel wrong before you feel anything at all. It'll wrap around your legs. There'll be music. Bite the salt. Like there's like a whole. And then they're also like, we have no idea what we're up against.
Avoid Canada.
Like, that's actually really funny that they know this much, but they don't really know what it is.
They're like, we know literally everything about this monster. All of the telltale signs. We actually have a few of them tattooed on our bodies, but we can't tell you what they look like.
We've just never named it.
We have no idea what it's named. I've had sex with a few of them. Can't tell you what they look like, to be honest. That's just a wild. Your guess is as good as mine. I drink a lot. I have alcohol. I am an alcoholic.
Yeah, no, it's just like I'm a raging alcoholic. I need to know the lore behind the legend of biting down on the salt. I'm stuck on this. The biting down on the salt saves the person. Like, do you think it was like somebody fell off the boat trying to save their salt chunk, and then the legs and the music wrapped around them? Hear me out. Don't make a face. And then the music started, so they like grabbed their salt chunk and they were like, oh shit, and they bit down on it to swim back to the surface, and then the sea witches were like, nah. So I don't know if you could follow any of that.
That was decent. Yeah, no, it's fell off the boat, bit into the salt thing, which said nah. Which said nah. So we keep live shrimp in my work, right? This is an actual thing that we're gonna get into a scientific level. Now, in order for aquatic life to breathe and live in the water, the salinity has to be at the right levels, because if a fish goes into too fresher water, they will suffocate and die. What it might be is you're biting the salt, it's dispersing, and that over-concentrated salt might kill them at an exponential rate compared to regular aquatic life. Now, that's like, it takes like a long time and like for the salinity levels to kill a fish or a sea
Not
creature.
If you just blast them with it, I bet.
Yeah, but I mean, too much salt on aquatic life, too much non-salt in the water can kill the fish. So maybe
You think they're shrimp people?
No, I mean it doesn't.
Correlation between that, stuff about.
We kept regular fish for a little while too, but they die super fast. Like bait fish die really fast, so we stopped carrying those. But it was the same idea, same principle. The salinity in the water. We have a little measuring gauge where we scoop the water, and if it goes way up here, that means we need to add fresh water because salt pushes things float better in salt water, So we have to mess with the levels to get it to a decent salinity. And that's my thought on it, and I know that's just probably astronomically wrong. It's probably closer to what you're saying, but I instantly went to thinking about how I have to check the salinity every morning. So
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yours is super scientific, and mine is fish which said nah. So yeah, I think that
let's be honest,
somewhere between these two.
This is the smartest thing I think I've said on this podcast. So it's probably gonna make me look like a big retard by the end of it, because I said something smart, which is just way the wrong path. We're going the wrong direction here, Ben. I'm usually naked.
You're right. We need to reverse the
Vaseline.
car. I'm in rare form. You're right. I need to. All right.
That sounded like the type of story I would come up with.
You're right.
Well,
all right,
you didn't add in some weird sexual thing. Like mine would have been like that, but then and
then she fucked him.
Yeah. And what it is the salt is the opposite of an aphrodisiac. It's like getting into bed with a really fine woman
That's why
and
she said
opening
no.
a can of sardines.
And she was like, "Oh, you're into that? Like,
Yeah.
you're a salt bag guy?
You're a salt
Salt
bag
bagging is a
guy?
big thing down there."
Get out of here. Gross. Not my vibe.
Anyway, part 3. The water was clear enough that we could see the reef from the surface, a wavering garden of color 30 feet below. It was almost beautiful enough to make me forget the weirdness of the island. We slipped in one by one, the cool slap of seawater filling the spaces in our wetsuits before settling into that slow, rhythmic press only few divers know. Air hissed from our regulators and sunlight poured down in ribbons that wavered with the swell above. Julian's voice crackled over the comms in my mask.
All right, everyone, keep an eye out for your long-lost mermaid girlfriend.
Mara laughed.
If she shows up, you can have her. I'm holding out for a merman on a yacht.
Thomas's voice came in low and lazy.
Just remember, the old lady said if they smile, it's already too late.
I forgot that was part of the fucking handbook on mermaids that they have.
Yeah?
Julian said.
I'll make sure to be rude and scowl at them right back.
My smartass felt the need to drop some humor of my own into the mix.
We might be getting paid to find this drone, but if I get to clap some mermaid cheeks in the meantime, I'll consider that a bonus.
Jeff, you're down there with them.
I know, dude. They got the same mindset as me. They're just a couple of roughnecks here for a good time. What can I say? When I see mermaids, I'm in my birthday suit. I don't care if they kill me. I'll be swimming torpedo first, if you know what I mean, brother.
I thought he was gonna make like a really awkward joke that didn't land, and I was gonna say it's me, but he just made like a sexy joke, and that was like, oh no, it's okay.
No, it landed. So far, this is. I think the dialogues landed pretty solid for this. Other than, like, it got a little repetitive there, but I'm liking the back and forths nature of this little dialogue exchange.
I like that they made like a complete horseshoe around the island and learned a different symptom of mermaid attack from each NPC. It's very RPG. I like that. We all laughed and proceeded to descend slowly, equalizing our ears, drifting past parrotfish that nibbled at coral with the sound of distant static. A green sea turtle cruised past us without hurry.
Tell me again why everyone's afraid of this place.
Mara said.
It's like a damn travel brochure.
Superstitions.
Thomas said.
They live on the island. That's 30 years behind the rest of the world. Probably tell ghost stories for fun.
I'm just saying.
Julian cuts in.
If I see me mum down here in a seashell bra, I'm swimming straight into a shark's mouth.
It's a weird place to go, Julian.
I mean,
I couldn't help.
If I see my mother supporting a seashell bra, I'm gonna be like, all right.
Nah, he's got a point. Okay, I guess.
All right, sharks, take me away.
It's just weird that he brought that up. Like we don't hold it back as a team.
He had a nightmare the night before while everybody else was dreaming about getting shanked in the throat by mermaids. He just was dreaming about running down the beach toward a hot chick, and then it turned into his mother.
Yeah. No, mother, no.
No, mother, no. Not in my sexy time dream. How could you do this to me?
I couldn't help myself as I took the opening to bust his balls.
If you see your mom down there in a seashell bra, you might end up with a new stepdaddy.
Julian couldn't help but break and laugh, but before he could respond with a line of his own, we reached the lip of the reef wall, peering over into the blue drop-off. The colors shifted from bright corals to deeper shades. Purples, rusty reds, pale blues. A small school of yellow tang darted past like a gust of sunshine.
There be the drone,
Thomas said. That's not what it said.
It says there is the drone, but I mean Tom is a pirate, so Thomas has to say there be the drone.
Thomas said, pointing. Sure enough, it was lodged against a coral head, its casing dented but intact. We moved toward it at an easy pace. A curious grouper followed along behind Julian, its thick lips opening and closing as if it were part of the conversation. Mara floated upside down to peer under the drone.
Maybe it didn't want to be found. Little undersea rebellion.
Good thing machines don't get lonely. But if they did, maybe Julian's mom could shake them seashells and keep it company.
Oh, no. I thought this was a different guy.
see, good thing these machines don't get lonely. But if they did, maybe Julian's mom could shake them seashells and keep it company.
Thomas said with a shit-eating grin plastered all over his face. Julian again laughed before letting out a...
Oh, fuck yeah, bro.
We all laughed hysterically together before moving on and continuing our expedition. It's weird to think of all these divers just like belly laughing while they like float down in unison. Just, like, yeah, he's like from the little British from Keira Knightley. I lost my voice doing this. We took our time inspecting the coral nearby, careful not to brush against it. There were sea anemones with clownfish darting between their tentacles, the faint shadow of a stingray gliding over the sand far below, and the glittering scales of wrasse flickering through beams of light. Thomas began to work the drone free, muttering into the comm about
the world's most expensive paperweight.
Julian hovered nearby, fiddling with his GoPro.
Connor would lose his mind if he saw us down here just sightseeing.
Mara's laugh came warm through the static.
If we bring him a seashell, maybe he'll chill out.
That's some foreshadowing, dude. That's what the little boy that was stringing the seashells together.
Yeah.
Dude, what if the islanders are the fucking mermaids?
Dude, it's just like that investigative story we read with the domestic dispute where the guy ends up on the island. Yeah, where he ends up on that Maine style island, that Silent Hill 2 island, and then everybody's just cannibals.
Yes. And dude, that was a good story.
Dude,
but
could you
man,
imagine if it's
actually when she said maybe if we bring him a seashell he'll chill out, that sounds like some irony.
But on top of that, could you imagine if it's the squealy lady? The squealy lady's just naked. It's like, it looks like she's out there looking like the chick from
We warned you.
Yeah, but what all work no play makes Jack a dull boy. The Shining. It looks like the Shining bathtub lady.
We got you, singing a song about how we're gonna eat you.
I could see it. I could definitely see these guys being the mermaids now. That's when I noticed the quiet. It wasn't sudden, but it was like I had just become aware of it all at once. The constant background clicks, the muffled scrape of parrotfish, even the faint surge of water moving over the reef were all gone. Only our breathing remained, and underneath it was something else. Faint, far away. Not sound exactly, but more like a thought that didn't belong to me. A melody, slow and curling, each note pulling at the edge of recognition. I looked up to see Julian's head turn, as if he'd heard it too. Mara was still smiling behind her mask, but her eyes had gone distant. Thomas froze mid-motion, the drone still in his hands. None of us spoke. The song kept winding through my head, soft as a whisper in a dream. Familiar, inviting, and possibly and impossibly far away.
Right.
Part. Damn.
All right.
That was good.
That was my favorite part so far. So far, easily.
Well, it's action. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just action. It was like the camaraderie.
Joking. That's right.
We had the camaraderie, the best dialogue so far, and then it got to them doing their jobs.
Yes.
Yeah. It was perfect. I like that. I'm excited. I'm like amped to get into part 4.
The one thing, and this is just such a minuscule detail, is I probably would have just like never had them find the drone. Like I would have had them just go out there in the reef and then just had shit start going haywire, and be like they just never even got close to their mission. That's the only thing. But it's not even really a criticism.
Fair enough.
Because it's a big ass, it's a huge fucking ocean, and they were out there for like 3 minutes. They're the best
if it's
team
on the
of divers
reef,
in
if
the
they know
entire
it's just
world.
right off the island, then that's why it was an easy job. If it was like deep in the ocean, it wouldn't be an easy job. And they said at the beginning it was an easy job.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. I'll concede that then. Part 4. The melody wound through my skull like a slow current, so faint I almost thought I was imagining it. But then Julian spoke, his voice oddly far away over the comm.
Hey, you guys heard that?
No one answered right away.
Like music?
He said again.
Could be just boat noise.
Thomas offered, though his words were slow and uncertain.
Time sound carries weird underwater.
Mara tilted her head as though she... The idea that they're all down here with the pirates just fucking killing me.
You like how
Sometimes things be weird underwater. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like Pirate Steve down there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Mara tilted her head as though she could catch more of it that way.
Doesn't sound like a boat to me.
I almost told them not to focus on it, but I didn't, because I wanted to hear it better too. The song was clearer now, notes that didn't seem to come from anywhere. No direction, no source, just inside, filling the space between thoughts. Each phrase slipped perfectly into the next, making it impossible to tell where it began or ended. We started moving along the reef without discussing it. No plan, no signal, just a shared drifting. Thomas dropped the drone, and none of us cared to recover it. So there it laid, abandoned mid-recovery. Fish parted as we passed, but not in quick, startled bursts, more like they simply moved aside, slow and unafraid. A green moray eel uncoiled from its hole to watch us go by. The reef dropped off here and the sunlight thinned. Blues became darker and softer. Julian's breathing had changed, slower, steadier.
I feel good.
He said, like I
What?
could keep... Oh.
Like I could keep going forever.
Mara made a small sound, almost a laugh.
You're sane.
I realized I was smiling without meaning to. The song began to shift, weaving in tones that made my chest ache. Not sadness exactly, but something older, deeper, a longing I couldn't name. Shapes moved far below, just at the edge of the gloom. I caught a flick of pale motion, then it was gone. I should have checked my depth gauge. I should have told them we were going too far from the anchor line, but the idea of turning back felt wrong. Like walking away from someone calling your name. The warmth in the water grew with every foot we descended. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was more like being wrapped in sunlight. The shapes grew clearer, longer now, moving with impossible grace, hair drifting like smoke. Julian's voice came in a whisper.
Is everyone else saying this?
No one answered. The song swelled, and I knew without knowing how that it was just not for us, that it was not just for us. It was about us.
Guys,
I said slowly. Probably not. They didn't respond. The song swelled, sweet, gentle, inevitable. Thomas's last clear thought before it drowned out everything else was,
it doesn't sound danger. It sounds like home.
all right, part 5.
Well, they are on a mission and just swam deeper into the
Yeah, I
ocean.
know, right?
They were like, drop the satellite. Merpussy is on the horizon. Let's just swim to that. I know they said they was going to kill us. But on the off chance it doesn't, I'm going to get myself some tail tonight.
So we've got things feeling wrong and the music.
It feels
And
right.
we haven't
no,
seen
they said
the-
it felt wrong, but then it all of a sudden started
It would have
feeling
felt
right.
wrong to turn back. That's what he was saying. Yeah, feeling back would have turned wrong. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, here we go. Part 5. Suddenly, the water around us had gone still. Too still. The kind of stillness that doesn't come from nature, but from expectation. No surge, no sway of current, no flickering bait fish. Even the sound in my own ears, the mechanical rhythm of my breath, seemed muted. Thomas was the first to move. He raised a hand toward his ear, then shook his head. Still there, he signaled with a quick twist of his wrist. The others didn't need clarification. The song hadn't gone away. If anything, it had burrowed in deeper. It was clearer now. It flowed. Slow, mournful notes like someone dragging their fingers along the strings of an ancient instrument. Beneath it, there was another tone. Lower. Almost too low to hear. A resonance I could feel in my ribs. Mara's voice crackled into the comms.
You guys seeing that?
We all turned. Something was rising below the drop-off. Pale shapes in the blue-black, far deeper than we could have been able to see without lights. For a heartbeat, they looked like drifting strips of cloth, twirling lazily in the water. Then one tilted, revealing a glimmer of what could only be skin.
Probably dolphins.
Thomas said, but his voice wavered.
Those aren't dolphins.
Mara murmured. Is that they just Star Wars us?
Yeah.
Or like, that's no moon. The shapes moved with an awful grace. Not the playful darting of a marine mammal. Not the mindless wriggle of fish. These moved with intention. Slow circles, drawing closer. Always staying just far enough below that their details blurred. The song grew louder. Julian pressed a palm to his temple.
It's God! It's God! It's inside my head!
His other hand clutched his dive knife instinctively. Thomas began ascending a few meters, kicking slowly.
We're heading up.
he said, trying to stay calm.
Eyes on them. No sudden movements.
The pale forms followed. One came close enough for me to see hair, long dark strands that floated upward in the water like a trailing curtain. A face hovered just at the edge of visibility, tilted as if studying us, but there was something wrong with it. A wrongness we couldn't name because the song kept clawing at our thoughts, pulling our attention away. Another shadow glided by Mara's side. This one didn't have hair. Its head was smooth, almost bulbous, and the mouth, if it was a mouth, was open just slightly, enough for something thin and filament-like to drift outward.
Guys,
Mara said sharply.
they're closer now.
She was right. The shapes had closed in a full half circle around us, silent, patient, each one swaying slightly as if keeping time with the song. Then, one of them smiled. Not the warm human kind, not even the snarling kind. It was the slow, careful spread of lips, giggity, that had too many teeth behind them, each one long, fine-edged, and glassy white. Mara gasped into her regulator. The circle tightened. Somewhere in the haze of music, I realized the song had changed. It was no longer mournful. It was hungry.
Hey, these mermaids are about to mess these guys up, bro. Dude, they did all the things they weren't supposed to, and the only reason he's gonna live is because of his salt.
He's got the salt bag.
He's got the salt
And nobody
bag.
else has the salt bag. They only gave out one.
Yeah, I know. Everybody else is gonna die. Mara's...
Kano was like, you're going to have to go back and write Reddit about this.
Yeah. You will write the Reddit.
Tell people about this.
You
You
will,
are the final girl.
you will tweet on your book face.
Alright, here we go. The epic climax. Part 6. The water closed in around us. No longer circling, the pale shapes surged forward with terrifying speed, limbs twisting unnaturally as they lunged. Their song erupted into a crescendo. A twisted chorus of voices were weaving through our minds like icy knives.
Hold together.
I shouted, but my own voice sounded distant, swallowed by the cacophony in my skull. Before I could even react, hands, too long, too thin, clawed, snatched at my mask and gear. I kicked hard, pushing back, but the water was thick with them. One grazed my leg, nails scraping through neoprene. Panic surged, but somewhere beneath the rising terror, a cold thought struck me. The salts. Fingers fumbling, I pulled the vial free. The vial was rough against my teeth as I bit down hard. A jolt exploded behind my teeth. The bitter fire spread through my mouth, sharp and raw, cutting through the fog in my mind. The singing faltered. The claws that had been reaching for me hesitated. I kicked away, breaking free, gasping through my regulator as the bitter taste burned on my tongue. Around me, the others were struggling. Shouts and screams came muffled through their masks.
Keep moving. Don't stop.
I called, the salt grounding me in the moment, anchoring me to my own breath and thought. The sea monsters, mermaids, sirens, I'm not exactly sure what to call them, but they weren't just attacking. They were trying to drag us underwater, to drown us in their song, to pull us into the abyss with them. The salt was working as a barrier. Each bite gave me clarity, a shield against the pull, a sting that broke the siren's spell. I kicked towards the surface, fighting through the swirling shapes, the pitch-black eyes tracking me like a predator watches its prey. Behind me, the water erupted with chaos, the desperate thrashing of friends caught in invisible chains, their limbs tangled in something cold and unyielding. I didn't look back. The surface was a shining promise above, the sunlight spilling through the waves. One last sharp bite of salt. And then, gasping, I broke through the water, lungs burning, heart hammering, knees weak. Yeah. The song faded, only the ocean's normal roar remained. I knew what was happening below me, though, as the blue waters around me became red. Hours had passed, and the sky was bruised purple. It was bruised pink before. When I crawled onto the shore, salt still stinging, my cracked lips, legs shaking so hard I thought I'd fall face first into the sand. No one waited for me at the dock. No cheers, no questions, no rescue. Just the restless whisper of palm fronds in the wind and the distant, mournful crash of the surf. My lungs burned with every breath. memories flooding in like cold waves. They're all gone. I dragged myself over the warm sand, collapsing beneath a twisted banyan tree. The bitter taste of the salt still burned on my tongue, their sharp fire the only thing between me and the madness beneath the waves. The village was silent too. Empty streets, shuttered windows. The faces I'd seen earlier at the dock now felt like ghosts themselves. I heard a faint hum, almost imperceptible, drifting on the breeze. The same haunting song. I wrapped my arms around my knees, wishing I could forget. Wishing the ocean would forget me. But the sea never forgets. Now, neither will I.
Dope. Dope. Super dope.
That was such a good story. That
I
was
love
so
that.
good.
I love that. That was an incredible, like, mermaid story. I didn't think when I started this show that I'd be reading an awesome mermaid story, but here we are. Look at that. The world is at peace. We can finally stop arguing about things and stuff.
Yeah, we did the mermaid story.
We did a
So
mermaid story.
all the world problems are solved.
I know, dude. Take that, global warming, and other stuff that's probably problematic in this world. Suck it.
Hey, if we did do it, then the mission's completed, and we're out of here.
Yeah, we did it.
If not, then we'll be back next week.
Yeah,
and
for
you guys
sure.
will know. You guys will know if all of the world problems are solved if we're back or not.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. That was a great story, though. I
Okay.
really did enjoy it.
I did like that. I loved it a lot.
Yeah, no, it was a
you.
really fun read. I have to say that's probably one of my favorites so far. It was just very enchanting. I still think the second part dragged really hard and could have probably done without that whole second part. Just added in the third part when they woke up and headed in. Added some banter about how weird those guys were, and then moved on with the rest of it. But everything else was absolutely killer. Absolutely killer.
With the exception of so few teeny tiny little details, then yes, it was like almost like a 8 or 9 out of 10 story, I would say.
Yeah. I think them finding the satellite did nothing.
It did nothing.
It did
but
nothing.
This is why doubling down on that and why I'm actually docking at a few style points here. I wouldn't have docked at style points if when he got back on shore, there was like a villager shaking their head at him and like waving their finger or whatever, being like, or Kanoa was there being like, we fucking told you so, or what
Yeah.
have you. But he gets back on the shore and like the entire island's like dead and gone. Like you said, like, I mean, it might have not been 100% literal, but I was getting the impression that like everyone was gone from the island when he got back.
Yeah.
Like they were either never there or like they're the mermaids or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the
But
ghosts
that
of people who died.
or the ghosts, exactly. It's like that amount of like mystery and speculation and stuff like that at the end right there shows that it had the capacity for that, for them to just like not find the drone. But you were right about the detail where they were like, it's right there, just go grab it for us and we'll pay you like
that,
$1
I think
trillion.
the drone does serve the small only purpose I can think of is it does serve the purpose of, though that was their destination, it no longer matters anymore because what's ahead is more important. The siren's call is so powerful that their original objective does not matter.
What you're looking for or what you seek will not be what you find or whatever.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I
It
got
works
you.
in that case, but
He's like, you guys think you're the first ones to lose a drone out here?
yeah, exactly. The whole ocean's covered on them. There's like 85
Yacht kids.
drones.
We get yacht kids like 4 times a week.
Yeah, so many yacht kids die. How do you think we fund this ghost village? But do you want to run into one more?
my dad's gonna kill me if I don't get his fucking drone back.
Yeah.
Man, if you want to.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's run one more. I think we will do a low man story too. I think we'll throw a
We
low
always
man
got
story. He posts all the time. He is a constant guy, a big fan of the show, a big fan of our sub, and we love to throw him in as many episodes as possible because he posts more than everybody else. Not that we don't love everybody else. This guy's just out there working.
Prolific.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
We are
riding
basically
full.
his agents at this point.
Yeah, no, we are sucking upon his shaft constantly. But this one doesn't have the NSFW tag,
Upon his low man.
so I'm thinking it's gonna get really, really whimsical and nerdy. So it's gonna be right up your alley, Ben. It's gonna get into goofball land.
Goofball land? Yeah. All right. What's it called?
Bring me your children, they'll burn.
No,
What
read
a-
it with a little spirit. Come on.
Bring me your children. Wait.
Bring me your children, they'll burn.
All right. Dance to the beat of the living dead. Voodoo Piper smiled yellow as he stood before the sad little village. Yeah, okay, already.
All right,
It
actually,
radiated
I'm
a
on
damn-
this one. I'm on this one, dude. I love some hoodoo voodoo stuff.
Yeah, it's
I
a Voodoo
love-
Piper.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Dude,
All
The
right,
Princess
I'll
and the
just start
Frog
over.
is my favorite Disney princess movie just because of the voodoo stuff. It's so cool.
Gotcha.
It's so awesome.
Voodoo Piper smiled yellow as he stood before the sad little village. It radiated a damp misery he needed to make worse. The urge, the need was far too great. It was primal and hungry and seething, like a birthing that must be delivered lest it rot and fester stillborn in his throat and his toxic regret in his veins. No.
Hello, small. I don't even know how to go this. Well, hello, the town.
None answered. He knew they wouldn't. It was hilarious. The sun was heavily veiled and shrouded by the tumult of rolling clouds above. God was blinded here. Piper was pleased. It was all the easier for what he intended. The rats, the pit. He set about for what he intended was with his treacherous magics and dark words of ancient earth spells. He whispered black things with leathery parched corpse lips that no longer needed water. He licked them anyway. A sour stench always followed this dark wraith that wore the shape of a man and called itself a Bathory host, a cavalcade of flies and lies and bastard words, whatever it wanted. The terrible thing that wore the shape of a man called itself whatever it wanted, whatever it needed. And today, it was the Rat Wrangler. Later, he would be friend to all children. He would leave a conqueror lord, an ebon green gorged blood king. He danced and strolled about the wet, sleeping village of sorrow. The denizens watched, but they were too frightened to approach or call out from their windows at a distance. They only whispered amongst themselves. Verdalac,
Tingrock,
Nosferatu,
Vampire, Wraith,
Wraith.
Witch.
He heard them all, but he cared not. Piper went about the whole village, whispering his black song of enchantment. And everywhere he went, the beasts and things that crawled heard and stirred at his call. Master. He loved the crawling things. Considered them brothers, sisters, lovers, kindred spirits. This guy's out here fucking rats.
Yeah.
He loved them all. All of the bastard crawling things. But he only needed a select few. A certain sort on this foul day for his black deed. Voodoo Piper sang his heinous siren song. Sirens again. Gathering them all up into a swarm about his feet. Dozens. Hundreds. Little black shining beads amongst filthy tumults of matted black fur with obscene strips of baby pink mammalian flesh in reptile appendage form spitting out the back of them like an insult. The rats gathered all about the leather boots of Voodoo Piper, and he led them to the spot he'd chosen just outside of the sleeping little village of Woe, leap prance dancing along his way into the shadow shape of a plague doctor amongst the agitated, furious, crawling rodent horde. He was about to increase their miseries tenfold. Dude, no wonder nobody's coming outside. I thought that this guy was like your guy from
Frog.
Prince and the Frog, yeah. Where he looks kind of like normal, but he's like a devil or whatever. I don't know, I forget what the guy's name is, but that voodoo character guy, the death's head dude. But no, this is just like a straight up like lich walking down the street.
Yeah, no, he's terrifying.
And he's like, hello everybody, hi.
Like, hello,
And everyone's
hello,
inside
town.
their like rainy little village hiding and freaking the fuck out. And he's like, bring me your rats. 1 second, I need all the rats. Come here.
Yeah, exactly, dude. He's got.
He's like, oh, I'm
he
gonna
has
fuck you
none
later
of
when he
that like
points up one.
Bayou swag. Originally in my head, like I was trying to remember that Bayou swag that I had for like that first episode where I did like the very Cajun dude, and I was like, if he talks again, I'll have to do that. But when he became a lich, I was like, nope, nailed the voice. Very, very raspy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like a
guy.
skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
The story's awesome so far. He waited till night, till he was sure they thought they were safe, and he departed for another place. What kind of fucking weird prank is this? They could never fathom his motives, so they never even guessed, never tried. They were too stupid, the mongrel brain-dead sheep. He smiled. He waited on the edge of town amongst the trees, and when he was sure they were all asleep and felt safe inside their little village of insignificance, he began to sing. Again, but these words were sweeter than the whispers for the rats, laced with play-pretend sugar, candy, which was perfect after all, for they were for the children. Voodoo amongst the trees on the edge of town began to softly call and sing, and the treacherous wind carried his words and song to the doomed village, and they filled and invaded the sad little place. Easily, with no resistance. There was no protection in this place. The children heard it and rose. Their parents were deaf to it as they were blind to much of... Is this weapons?
Yeah, this is
As they
turning
were
into
blind to
weapons.
so much in the world that is plain obvious and apparent to the flame of a child's mind. The children rose as they heard it. From their beds they rose, and quietly they all went to the doors of their homes. Like good, quiet little somnambulists, they Naruto ran through the village, just like in the movie Weapons. They crept out into the night and left the village together in a mass, like a swath of silent, obedient animals properly flocked and herded and tamed. They came and gathered silently like cattle at the precipice edge of the Black Depression. Piper grinned in the dark. It was all so easy. Hilariously so. It was nearly done, too. Just one more word and they'd all go in. And at the bottom of the pit, the dark crawled, furious and hungry and trapped. In the gathering black, Voodoo Piper said their names.
Sitkat, Yatkazin, Azel.
And with that, the necro snare, ebon folds of his gathering tempest magic, collapsed with a psychic thunderclap felt, and a supernova seen with the mind's singular precious splinter. The net ensnared, and the souls and the minds of the children caught and enslaved were given no chance to disobey or do otherwise. The low voice of cold ice and flame in their minds commanded them to jump. And so all the children of the sleeping village did as the magic words bade. Voodoo roared lunatic laughter as the children hit the bottom of the pit. The fall wasn't far, but none would be able to climb out without the aid of a rope. He cackled mad as he watched.
It's just too deep that they need a rope to get out. I was thinking it was like a deep pit that was just like, you know, in the movie like Quigley Down Under, where they shove all of the indigenous people off of the cliff. I don't know if you've seen Quigley Down Under. Great movie.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
but I know what you're talking about, though. I've heard of this. I've heard of it.
What's the guy from Die Hard and Harry Potter? The serious Snape?
The guy that plays Snape, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's
Oh
the
my
bad
God.
guy, and Tom
Yeah.
Selleck is the good guy. And there's a scene where they like push all the people that are like indigenous to Australia off a cliff. And that's just kind of what I was picturing, just a dead pile of bodies. But then it was just like, it's just deep enough that they don't even have a rope, you weenies. You can't climb out of here. Good luck.
Well, it does get worse because I started laughing at first too, where something in my brain told me, I was like, this is either like the edge of the world or it's like not that deep. And then like when they all started jumping, also like all of the children of the village, like I'm picturing like at least like 30 kids in like this small hole, like eventually they'd just start stacking up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they?
100%.
But it does get
the
worse.
comical get on each other's shoulders and try to buy beer thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they all came in a trench coat. Maybe Voodoo is just like 5 kids in a trench coat and he's just pranking his classmates.
Yeah. Got you guys good. You jumped into a hole. Ha! Now you're dirty.
He cackled madly as he watched the fury of little claws and tails and hungry yellow teeth. Ravenous little black bodies, fleshy tails dragging everywhere in a feeding frenzy like a cancerous protrusion. The rats had been hungry and his skill issue, and his whispers had magnified their rodent appetites to a roaring animal need. The children had filled the bottom of the pit on impact, killing some of the furious little things in a crushing fall. It mattered not. The rodents would soon have their retribution. They swarmed the children, now free of the somnambulant spell and screaming. They covered their struggling, frightened, uncomprehending little bodies all twisted and piled together in a mess, biting and ripping into child flesh. Little arms and legs kicked and crushed and fought. Rat blood and child blood began to spray and spew in torrents, in mists, in obscene, grotesque gouts of dark, thickening, steaming ropes. Don't say it like that. The rat battle, child war was...
This is so messed up. But it's also hilarious. I have a fear of rats, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm just picturing like my daughter having to fight rats, and I'm like, this is awful.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Diabolical.
if you think about it like in realistic terms, yes, but if you think about it in like absolutely cartoonish, like what's that game where it's like People Playground or something where you can just like drop stick figures like on like a fulcrum and then just like drop a big boulder and send like a million people scattering and stuff. Like I've never played it either, but it sounds something, it's almost kind of like that where he's like spawn 50 rats in a pit, now
Yeah.
spawn 50 kids in a pit and like make them
Yep.
aggro each other.
Yep.
Like it sounds like he's just like Warhammer clashing things
Or it's
together.
like those videos that people make where it's like Chuck Norris versus 1,000 Spartans.
Exactly, yeah. What would 100 kids versus 1 million rats?
Yeah.
Anyway, the rat battle child war was raging in the darkness of the wide-mouthed pit. Voodoo watched the bottom fill with pain and blood and screams and death. The children were starting to turn on each other. His eyes widened at some of the actions they took against each other. One was force-feeding another struggling child fistfuls of dead rats, one after the other, violently fisting them in with little striking child punches down the throat as the storm of violence and teeth and fur and dying children continued to wage around and upon them. Good night, everybody. Voodoo roared his laughter once more, his black mirth and sour joy renewed. At every violent moment and vile twist and turn and shock, it was fucking hilarious. The rodent babies of the exiled first mother were eating well. This would yield him more power, more favor. We're just gonna leave that there. He could already begin to feel the absolute thrum of it pouring out from the mouth of the pit and into his flesh and form. It filled him. And he praised his name, Warmaker, Father of Giants, the one who taught the art of violence and death and the art of painting face, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
And the both of them drank deeply and greedily from the pit. It poured and ate and drank bright, vibrant life in gluttonous vampiric abundance as the children and the rats died and warred together in its terrible nucleus, heart center of maelstrom violence and blood anarchy. Damn you and your run-on sentences. They tangled all together into one huge raw fighting mass, fighting itself in the end. Nearly indistinguishable from each other at the bottom of the black crater of warm gore. A giant dancing blood body of tissue and fur and little arms and legs. The faces of children were discernible in the ruin too, but they were a grotesque smearing mess of the angelic wonder they'd once been, with eyes that bled but did not see. Oh shit.
Unfortunately.
Voodoo drank from the pit. His master did too. And they both barked mad laughter at the sight of the giant, dying, struggling child rat king mass. He really loves his rat kings.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pouring
that's what I've been
blood.
thinking since the rat showed up in this one. I was like, he really loves rats because this is like the third rat story we've had.
Yeah. Pouring blood undistinguished and mixed and thoroughly animal in the end. He watched till the dancing struggles ceased. Then he spoke more black words, and the flames erupted at the bottom of the pit, so that the fires might eat and drink and partake to blood feast as well. They did so, and they thanked him with crackling flame song, wild otherworld snapping demon speech. Piper fled as the sun began to bleed the sky of her night. He would rest the day, but he would take to the road of adventure and chance and capricious strange fortune again the next sunfall, with every rise of the goddess moon, with every impulse of sin's sweet song howling within his veins, with every call of the master, the fallen one that authored Warcraft and the art of painting face. Voodoo heard and came to the blues call of every sacrificial song of the night, for the master, for the war, for the art of painting face. The sun rose and Voodoo Piper fled, leaving the pathetic village decimated of its child population, and the black wide mouth of the pit at the edge of their town full. End.
Goofy. So goofy. This is probably his goofiest story, hands down.
That was so funny. I don't know. I know that it was horrific and horrendous, and people might
it
be
got
like,
to a
"What the fuck is wrong
comical-
with you?" But like, that was so funny to me, dude. Like,
Oh, dude, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, here's the thing too, is like when they first, the kids first
It
fell
was
into
so
the pits
good.
of rats, I was like, this is honestly scarier than weapons. Easily scarier than weapons.
yeah. Oh yeah, it
And
is. This
then
is
it
definitely how
became,
weapons should have
like,
gone.
The blood sucking into him and it started to feel like one of those like old time like the old stories from like what was it, not the evil Santa Claus,
Evil Santa Claus,
yeah,
like Krampus.
Krampus, yeah, it's like,
Oh yeah,
it's like
yeah,
those,
like a folklore type
like
story.
very
yeah.
folklore. This is very folklore, but the viscera and blood part gets so comical that it loses its folkloriness, I think.
I like that his name is Voodoo Piper, but everybody's calling him Verdelak Striegel Vampire. Like he's in like a German village or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. It was like, I think it works better as like a more of a folk story, and less as a voodoo thing. So the voodoo thing, I think, clashes with it, and I think this is one of the times that his love for gore got in the way of a good story. Like this is like probably my least favorite of his stories, and I love Low Man. I think he's had some real bangers. Like the Greyhound Bus is still one of the most like visually and like intense stories I've ever read without it getting intense. It's just a great story. This one just has so many clashing themes that just don't work. The voodoo and the folk story, because it would have worked as a vampire story, like a folk vampire story that just feels very vampire but not vampire at the same time. It would have really worked in that.
Or just the Pied Piper too, where he leads the rats out and then he comes back and leads the children away and stuff like that. Like he is the Pied Piper, but it says the blues call of every sacrificial song of the night. Like this is very voodoo. Like this is very like bayou-y and stuff like that. Like that's what I thought he was doing at first, was going like along these little like Creole villages out in those swamps and stuff.
You can't even picture the Creole villages when you're like you're picturing like Eastern European shacks. And so you're awesome. Having this like really hard back and forth
anachronism
in your mind that really kind of sets it as not. It just doesn't land for me. This is the one that I think we've read so far that I'm like, nah, I was out. Like after like 5 minutes of hearing about I was in with the rats killing kids, and then it just kept going. And also, I was like, voodoo, Eastern European. I'm so confused.
Well, it kept escalating too, even from there, where it was like it was more than enough that he had like led the kids all to the pit, and we were like, is he really gonna? And then he like snaps his finger, and they all go jumping in. There's blood flying and all this type of stuff. Like that was like way enough right there. And then he's like, and then he felt like Satan himself basically like behind him, and they started dancing and drinking from the blood of the pit together. Just started jerking
and then off. They were Dutch ruddering right into the hole, and then
it does say
it back
like arcing ropes and painting face and all this type of stuff. So it's very homoerotic through there. It is. And then when it gets after they bust all over each other, and Satan's like, that was fun, see you next time. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna clean up. And then when he's cleaning up, then like a giant like abomination rises out of the pit, and then it just like dies back down or something. I'm not sure what happened there at the end, but that was like, it was like way too much. Way too much.
And again, that's not
so
like
hard for me though that it like landed straight on my heart. Like I like it because it's too much.
This is like the second part of the When a Stranger Calls episode. Remember that? Like the first part was fire, and then the second part you were like, I hate it, but I love the dad. This is how I feel like you're having the same reaction.
Where the dad just shows up and he's like, I'm going in that crime scene.
You're like, I found all the evidence.
He walks back out with all the evidence.
And
the cops are like, why don't you just explain it to us then, asshole? And he's like, I think I know what's going on here.
We'll get like from like the same author too. We'll get like a super like hit out of the park banger, and then we'll have one that just doesn't land as well. And that's like I think a lot of people think that when they post on different forums or whatever, they have to make it perfect. It has to be the best story they ever read. Sometimes you're just getting an idea out there. You just gotta hit full send and get an idea out there and have fun with it. And at the end of the day, if it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, well, you'll write another one. You'll write another one, and you'll learn from those mistakes, and you'll have fun with it. At least you got that idea out there, and eventually it might escalate into a much better idea.
Yeah, if it lands in our laps and we can cackle over it for 30 minutes too, then that's fucking awesome.
Exactly, like, dude. If we can like voodoo, hoodoo, devil orgy over a massive rat child war. That was a pretty funny story. Look at that.
That was great.
Look at that. This is the first time I've heard a kids die in a story and think it's mildly funny.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But with that, guys, I think that'll do it for us. I think that was a fun episode. Another one in the books. But you got anything to add, Ben?
We got that massive, gigantic multi-parter out of the way. That feels pretty good, man.
Yeah, we got
It's
another
like
multi-parter.
exposed off the wall.
Yep, we got I think that was our last Succotash story too.
I think it
On
was,
the sub.
and it kind of wraps up. I think now we have recorded and posted 99% or 100% of like the stuff that got given to us way back at like the beginning of season 1 and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I think all of the original stories are like read now.
Yeah,
that
like
we've
like the first half of our sub is now caught through, is now read
Yep,
through,
pretty
which
much.
is really cool. Which is really cool.
Now it's all low man from here.
And I've been seeing a lot more people posting, so we're gonna have a good variety of people.
That's true.
Which
We have
is
some
sick.
other big
And
chunky
Gloomy,
multi-parters coming
and you
up.
write more stuff, we would love to read it, and we're always excited to see your stuff on the sub. And Lowman, keep posting like crazy because we love your stories. Even the ones that miss are still fun to read.
Nikki XX, stop writing novels. And just start publishing the novels.
I like
you-
Nikki
you're gonna-
XX's novels though. I think both of her novels have made for really fun episodes. So what was it?
They have. No, they've been fantastic. But
Miranda
they are
Lies
great.
and the Briar House, both were really fun stories. But make sure to like,
I'm excited for 'em.
subscribe, sub, comment, do all that stuff. Let's get this channel
Send feet.
big so that we're recognized other than our little niche world that we live in. Let's keep pushing us out there. Share us with all your friends.
Everybody would love us.
Yeah, exactly. With that,
We're
you
great
guys
at parties.
stop gooning in the closet and bye.
Bye.